So, got the car back in 2019 in November. The car had about 37,000 miles on it. One previous owner, it looks like he took very good care of the car. Interior looked good. Exterior looked good. I think actually one of the Hemi badges was actually missing on the front right side, but that ain't no big deal. I changed it anyway. But yeah, so I had it since 2019. I daily this. I probably drive about, probably about 24 miles a year. So I'm probably driving around 80, 90 miles a day. So, and of course, working 5 days a week. So I drive this literally every single day. And put a lot of miles on it, as you can tell. You can tell we're at 112,165 miles at this point in time of recording. So definitely put on some miles since then at the 37 or 38k mile. So yeah, super comfortable. Gas isn't too bad. I'll probably get about 21, 22 miles to the gallon. I'm usually driving in eco mode. Usually I might put it in track mode, maybe, I don't know, a couple times a week, but not for a very short period of time, because when you're on interstate, I'm just cruising. So yeah, usually a lot of highway mileage, not like stop and go mileage in between oil changes and stuff like that. So not as much wear and tear on the internal parts and stuff like that. So yeah, performance is great. I haven't noticed any changes in terms of the performance since I've had it. I've things that I've done to it. I have changed the spark plugs in it. I changed it, I think, around like 45,000 miles, maybe 50, somewhere around there. And I haven't noticed any, like, I don't have a tune or like HP tuners or anything myself, but I haven't had any codes saying like misfiring and stuff like that. I haven't checked the spark plug since I put them in, so that's probably something that I'll do. I can maybe make a video in the future and open up some take out some spark plugs and just look at and see how they're holding up. No other modifications for lower air box. I just, instead of buying a lower Hellcat airbox, I looked at what that looks like. It looks like they literally just have a hole in the front of it where the air goes into the intake. So I literally just drilled a hole in there. So maybe I might be able to put a little clip here to try to show that as well, and probably do like a little voiceover. But yeah, I know some people say, "Oh, you're ruining your car," but you're like, you know what? I don't care. I think it's helped. I've noticed. I can't remember. I think the degrees dropped by like maybe 3 or 4 degrees when I did that, opening up that front part of that standard lower airbox. So I think I saw at least somewhat of a difference in terms of airbox temperatures and stuff like that. The person actually did a mid muffler delete, but before the exhaust and before the yeah, mid muffler delete, and to me, I think it sounds really good. Of course, when you do that, it doesn't really increase performance, just help add some theater to the car. But yeah, I go to the track sometimes. I haven't been recently, but I've ran on a 8th mile. I think the fastest I've run was like an 8.7, I think, at like 79 miles per hour. I think that was it at the point. Maybe look up some of my my tickets again. I can show some of those on the screen as well if I'm able to get to it. And then yeah, usually from like a stop and go, really great, super rowdy. Actually with this RT, I actually have the performance pages, which a lot of them, of course the standard ones don't come with the performance pages, but the person that fitted this car, they had that installed. So you got like your times, your gauges and stuff. I had the car turned off, if y'all wonder why my lights were on. My check engine light was on, but yeah, I have all these things. Performances, I don't know if this has because this is maybe, yeah, some of this is a little off. When I got the slip, I think it was like 8.7. I think it was going like 79. I can't remember exactly, but but yeah, so I've been able to put in like track mode and stuff like that, eco mode. So that's been helpful. So it's fun switching between those modes. And if you're wanting to get a little bit more rowdy, you can do that. Or if you just want to chill and relax, you can do the eco mode, of course. One thing that that's been a big pain for me is the defect, or I think it's a defect in the active exhaust. It rattles like a rattlesnake every single time, only when I'm driving in eco mode for some weird reason. I've looked on videos online to like use like like lithium grease and things like that to try to help get the squeaking and stuff out, but it still does it. So still trying to figure out on how to fix that. But that's the only, I guess, major complaint that I've had with regarding noise while driving in eco mode. But yeah, so maintenance, usually what I do is I change it every 5,000 miles. However, this time I haven't been able to change it at the 5,000. So I think I'm at 50, hold on, 5,201 miles. I know, usually you never want to go over 6,000, but usually I'm always changing at either 5,000. I think last oil change, I changed it at, I think 4,500 because I went to the drag strip. So for me, for my protocol, every time I go to drag strip, I usually reduce, or I change it 500 miles less, just because of the more wear and tear on parts and just putting the car a little bit more under pressure whenever you go to drag strip and stuff like that, just for safety precautions. So yeah, I usually change it every 5,000 miles or earlier, depending on if I'm going to a drag strip or not. I use, I know people are probably going to be like, oh, you need to use a better oil, but I use the SuperTech full synthetic advanced oil, or advanced formula. So it says you can go for 20,000. Don't ever do 20,000. But I use that oil. I haven't had any problems with it. So, and I change it so regularly, and you might see a lot of videos like, oh, you need to use this oil, you need to use that oil. As long, and if you're using a full synthetic, because it's a little bit different when if you're using like a conventional or like a blend. If you're using a full synthetic and you're changing your oil regularly, it really doesn't matter what type of oil you use. And also making sure that you're changing your filter. I use a K&N air filter. I think it's a 1017 oil filter. That's the number for it if you ever go to like AutoZone or O'Reilly's or something like that. So yeah, I've been using SuperTech in this car on the second oil change, because I didn't know if they changed the oil when I got the car in 2019. I didn't know, so I switched it and I changed it with Royal Purple. I love Royal Purple, but it's just expensive. So and I haven't had any problems switching to SuperTech, and I change it so often, so that really doesn't matter. But you know, different detergents and stuff like that, so different synthetics have different detergents and stuff like that. But still, if you're changing it regularly and you're getting a full synthetic and it has the I think it's API rating and it meets all the standards, you should be good. But yeah, so yeah, I can start another video. Might be able to do some voiceovers and stuff like that to talk about like some of the exterior things that I've done. But yeah, this is pretty much an overview of the car. At 112,000 miles, I still enjoy this car every single day. It's been extremely reliable. I haven't had any battery problems. Only had to change the battery once, which was when I got the car. It was still the original battery in there, so it lasted for a long time. Then I replaced it. I replaced that battery. There was one time where I had it sounded like my lifters might have been going bad, but when I turned the car off and then turned it back on, the noise that I was hearing stopped. So I don't know what it came of that. I haven't had any other problems with that. We all know that our Hemis sound like typewriters, so but no major problems. I did have my I think it was Bank One O2 first O2 sensor on the front left side of the driver's side. I think it was malfunctioning. The only thing I can think of, because I was doing some research online, that the Shell 93 octane gasoline, some people had problems with their O2 sensors when they were using that gasoline, and I did use that for maybe a week or two or something like that, maybe 3 weeks, and I popped a code. So when I switched to usually I use Chevron, and I usually put 89 in it, but when I switched back to the Chevron and used the 89 octane the code went away. It just went away on its own. So it potentially could have been the 93 octane from Shell. Some other people had that issue as well, but I have more leaning towards that because I haven't had an issue with it since. But But yeah, so if y'all have any questions for me, or if there's other videos you want me to do, maybe some more like intricate things that I've done on the interior, stuff like that, or maybe some of the things on the outside, or some products that I've found that have been really helpful to try to keep this black Challenger somewhat clean, which can be extremely difficult depending on where you live. But yeah, I appreciate y'all checking in, and yeah, take care, y'all. Bye bye.